But this you can store it lots of different ways. You can fold it up, and the DNA is like bound within the membrane right now.
Oh, interesting.
Right.
Is it gridded, or is that just?
It is gridded. That's just yeah.
Okay.
But one thing, if you are particularly if you're filtering for someone that's then going to have to do in the lab to be nice to that person, the way at least our extraction protocol is we don't actually extract off the entire filter. We cut it in half and then do half filter.
Okay.
And that's partly just so you have a backup in case something goes wrong, and usually the filter is enough. But if you just take it and you just jam the whole thing into like a tube with ethanol, so it gets all crumpled up, when you're trying to like pull it, cut it evenly in half, it makes it pretty much impossible and it'll rip it up. So the way that I'll do it is actually just kind of like you fold it over a couple times and fold over once more, and then it's kind of just neatly folded, and then when someone pulls it out, they can.
Yes, and these the curved flat edge forceps help a bunch. But you can just. Well, now that everybody's watching, I'm probably not gonna do a good job. But
That's what you're gonna do.
Right, like fold it over, increase it, and do that a couple times, and you can fit it into a tube with ethanol.
And then it's nicely folded and not ripped up.
Yeah, then it's easy to take out.
Yeah. But then once it's in ethanol, now it's fixed. It can sit there and wait.
Well, sort of.
For
That's
a
another
while.
point is that so if you put this in ethanol, some of the DNA is going to elute off of this into the ethanol. So it's another reason not to just jam it down in there. If you have it nicely folded, the chance that all the DNA is going to come off your filter and get loose in the ethanol.
And so you don't need to also fill the tube to the top with ethanol. You just need enough that it's going to coat basically the filter. You don't need to have it drowned in.
Right, because otherwise you're going to have to pour the ethanol back on the filter to get it.
If you want to recover all of it,
all the DNA.
So,
all right.
So you're saying that all you have to do is have enough in the bottom just so it.
Just to coat the surface, but not to.
It's not like putting a tail tip in a tube full of.
Ethanol. But there's other strategies besides ethanol that are probably better. There's some other buffers you can use. So ethanol causes if you have ethanol in your DNA extraction, the DNA won't extract very well. That's why if you have a tail tip, you have to let all the ethanol dry out before you extract the DNA. So same with these. There's other buffers though that you can just incorporate into the extraction process, as if it was water or something.
So CTAB buffer is a buffer that it actually starts to break down the cells, starts to lyse the cells while you put it in there. So that's what you guys use, right?
Yeah, that's great.
CTAB buffer.
So alternatively, if you do this in the lab, you can just stick them in a -80 freezer right away and put no buffer, and then I don't have to worry about that part at all. So there's lots of ways to skin a cat, right? But ethanol's good, I don't know, a good default still, I think.
But if you do the CTAB buffer, then that kind of puts you in a specific type of extraction. So for instance, you couldn't, at least I don't think you would. You wouldn't take CTAB and then do the Qiagen DNeasy kit, because that's got its own lysis step. So if you're doing Qiagen, you need to keep it. Then you put in ethanol. But if you do CTAB, then you can do phenol chloroform, that extraction, and So it just depends on your whole setup. But yeah, you do have to have a drying step if you put them in ethanol. We actually usually let it for at least several hours, sometimes overnight. We tear the filter up and then just have an open tube for all the ethanol to dry off.
But with the CTAB, you're not going to save any of the filter. It gets destroyed in the process.
Yeah. Okay. And I've never had to go back to the other half of the filter. It's there.
It's there.
So it's not like that's critical. That's a real problem if you're using a whole filter.
Wow.